I do have India's former finance and home minister and a very tall leader from the opposition, P Chidambaram, who's been very, very vocal on Twitter ever since that verdict came, and he joins us live right here on ET Now. Thank you very much, Mr. Chidambaram, for being with us. In your tweets, you seem to have taken the stand that you stand vindicated. But is this not some sort of a tactical victory for the government? Because not only is Aadhaar not unconstitutional, various provisions of Aadhaar have been upheld as well.
The Congress did not ever say that the Aadhaar is unconstitutional. Please remember, it was a UPA which struck upon the idea of Aadhaar, invited Nandan Nilekani and others to design Aadhaar and the infrastructure backbone, and actually began to implement the Aadhaar program. So I would say it's unconstitutional. What we are saying is that the Aadhaar that was designed under the UPA has been retrieved and upheld by the Supreme Court. The monster that was created by the NDA when they extended Aadhaar to school admissions, to bank account, to mobile telephony, to airline reservations, to train reservations and whatnot. That has been clearly forestalled, stopped by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has made it clear that Aadhaar can only be used for benefits, services and subsidies paid for by the Consolidated Fund of India. That was the UPA idea of Aadhaar, not the NDA idea of Aadhaar.
Mr. Chidambaram, while refuting what you said, the finance minister, Mr. Jaitley, very categorically stated that the Congress did introduce Aadhaar, and in that count you did pioneer it, there's no denying that, but you did not know what to do with it, and it was the NDA that perhaps could see where all Aadhaar could be leveraged. What are the loopholes that Aadhaar could have plugged?
I'm afraid your memories are short. We introduced Aadhaar for almost 9 or 10 programs, beginning with scholarships, then payment of ASHA. Then we introduced it for LPG. So the major areas where Aadhaar is being used were introduced by the UPA government. The government changed. If we had remained in government, of course we would have extended other benefits, other subsidies and other services. The NDA did was extended to mobile telephones. Extended, struck down. Why isn't the question? If they were so cocksure about what they did was right, why was it struck down by the Supreme Court? And the Supreme Court categorically has said, you cannot extend it to anything beyond benefits, subsidies and services. I mean, that's a question which the finance minister must answer.
No, he should, but I will also ask you a counter question, because the government and all its ministers have tweeted pretty vocally, and the finance minister also reasserted in his press conference that 90,000 crore rupees have been saved annually by identifying government scheme beneficiaries thanks to Aadhaar. Isn't that significant saving? And also, can India afford to be a tech laggard as we move forward?
Who said we should be a tech laggard? The technological idea of Aadhaar was designed and introduced by the UPA. So why do you say that the UPA or the Congress is anti-technology? We started Aadhaar, and I want that point should be understood by everybody. We started Aadhaar. If they were the initiators of Aadhaar, they should have started it under the Vajpayee government. They didn't. We started under the Dr. Manmohan Singh government. Now, as far as 90,000 crore is concerned, wait for the CAG. I know that the government claimed a fantastic amount of savings under the LPG, and then the CAG came out with a report saying it's only a fraction of that amount. But whatever savings, we welcome it. But those savings started even under the UPA, when we saved on scholarships which were going to ghost students. We saved on our old age pension, which is going to non-existent or wrong persons. There was a saving.
Right.
So the saving idea started under the UPA. In fact, we said, "Aapka paisa, aapka haath," your money in your hands, so that it shouldn't go to anyone else's hands.
Right.
So the idea of saving was the idea that prompted us to start Aadhaar.
It's
So what is
interesting.
new about the savings?
It's interesting to see Aadhaar is making you break into Hindi. That's always a welcome change. But a quick last question before I let you go, Mr. Chidambaram, and that has to be on certain sections of the Congress party, and certain tall leaders like yourselves have actually said that they may approach the Supreme Court and may actually want the matter to be referred to a 7-judge bench, considering this was a dissent judgment that and the dissent note came in from Justice Chandrachud. Is that what is in the works? Do we expect the Congress party to move the 7-judge bench?
Frankly, I don't know, so I can't answer the question. But the fact remains that the act came perilously close to being struck down. If you read Justice Sikri's judgment for the majority, you will clearly see running through the judgment a sense of judicial forbearance that they should not strike down the act. It came perilously close to being struck down. So what did they do? They read down 2 sections which were suspect, and they struck down section 57. That is how they saved the act.
Right.
On the contrary, Justice Chandrachud's judgment, which said it is unconstitutional, it was not a money bill, in my view, is a well-reasoned judgment. It is a brooding appeal to the future. That is how dissenting judgments are. But clearly, in future, the government will not, dare not, adventurous act like the article and pass dubious bills as money bills. They'll be more careful. The fact that this time the Supreme Court did not strike down the Aadhaar bill as not a money bill but passed as a money bill does not mean that in future the Supreme Court will not strike down another dubious misadventure. They've clearly said what a money bill is, and they've drawn the line and said, be careful.
So there are no two ways about whether it should have been a money bill or should it have actually got the assent from the Rajya Sabha itself. But thank you very much, Mr. Chidambaram, for taking time out and speaking to us this evening